Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different revelations connected to not only the legacy characters in this movie, but also to the sequel trilogy characters in this film that'll change how we view all the other Star Wars films that come before this one by J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one aspect of Episode 9 that a lot of people are really looking forward to is, of course, exactly how JJ is going to utilize many of the legacy characters in this story. After all, you know, we do know that this movie is going to be a very important film for the Skywalker saga. This is the culmination of the Skywalker saga. This is basically the sequel to the 8 movies that come before this one. So you can only imagine how important of a film it is to not only Disney and Lucasfilm, but also to us, the Star Wars community. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intriguing for Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of Rey, Poe, and Finn on board of the Millennium Falcon. Inside of the cockpit, where it's described that the droid Dio is tinkering with the wirework in the background of the Falcon, where it said that Dio finds a secret that was stored in the Falcon by Han Solo, which is described to be an encrypted coordinates that was given to Han from Luke Skywalker decades ago, that is said to lead to the Prime Jedi Tower that's located on a world in the Outer Rim. It's described that this location in the place is the place where Rey will eventually meet the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker, where he will provide her a lesson or two as well as an important conversation. It said that Han was instructed by Luke to keep the coordinates safe and secret and to eventually pass it on to his son Ben Solo, who unfortunately and eventually turned to the dark side and became Kylo Ren, as the coordinates remained a secret. It said that the Do Droid transfers the coordinates into its database and also discovers an old Imperial Signal of a downed space station. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that there are going to be a lot of revelations in this movie that is, of course, going to explain more about the backstory of some of the legacy characters of the unknown era of the Star Wars franchise. And that era is of course, you know, in between the sequels and the originals that's going to be somewhat explored in this movie. Now, one thing I want to go over are, of course, these coordinates that lead to the Prime Jedi Tower. Now, in case you guys are completely unaware about what the Prime Jedi really is, the Prime Jedi is actually said to be the first of the Order. So keep in mind, not the first Jedi per se, but the first of the Order. If you guys go ahead and check out the Last Jedi visual dictionary, you will learn about the Prime Jedi, that this Jedi in particular is the one that started the Jedi Order and everything that we know about in the prequels and of course in the originals. And you can actually see the symbol of the Prime Jedi in The Last Jedi in the cave of the First Jedi Temple. So with that being said, I like what they are really going with this movie, how a lot of the Jedi lore is somewhat connected to some of the non-Force related characters, right, such as Han Solo. So this was actually given to Han Solo by Luke Skywalker decades ago and was stored and encrypted within the Millennium Falcon itself and was eventually going to be handed down to his own son, Ben Solo, who unfortunately became Kylo Ren, right? Now, it would only make one imagine as to why Luke Skywalker would eventually have Han Solo pass these coordinates down to his own son, Ben. Now, what I would like to believe is that this would be a path for Ben Solo to becoming a Jedi on his own, as opposed to Ben being forced to becoming a Jedi because of his anger and having too much Vader within him. Now, what I like about this, though, I will say, is that this really ties directly into the ancient Jedi lore. You know, this isn't just normal Jedi lore, this is ancient lore that fans have never seen before on the big screen that is going to be connected to one or two of the legacy characters, I should say, both of course Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, that Han kept hidden away on the Millennium Falcon. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over that stands out to me a lot besides Dio, this new droid that stores these coordinates in its database, is of course the signal of an old Imperial signal that is described to be a signal of a downed space station. Now, I believe that this is going to tie directly into exactly how Poe, Finn, Rey, Chewbacca, 3PO, and Dio actually discover the downed Death Star 2 wreckage on that unknown world, which may be the forest moon of Endor, since Endor does in fact have 8% water, so keep that in mind. I think that that signal, that old Imperial signal of a downed space station that Dio discovers, most likely is going to be the direct cause of what leads Rey and her team to discover the Death Star 2 wreckage, which will hence connect to the fight between herself and Kylo Ren. And I think that this is a very unique way in order to have the crew go over to the Death Star 2 wreckage, is of course by getting a signal, right, from, of course, whatever world this really is. Most likely this is, in fact, going to be the planet of Endor, or should I say the forest moon of Endor, since it does have water on that world. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.